The air was thick with salt, carried in from the nearby ocean. Flags along the Navy base's parade ground rustled in the cool breeze as the sound of synchronized boots echoed against the pavement. Families and friends gathered behind the rope line, eager to watch the SEAL team's public demonstration. Lena stood at the far edge of the crowd. She pulled her jacket tighter, not from the cold, but from what she felt stirring inside. She wasn't here for the gunfire simulations, the explosions, or the applause. She wasn't here for anyone in uniform. She came for something else, something she'd spent years trying to forget. Once, this world had been her world. A world built on discipline, loyalty, and unspoken bonds forged under fire. But that chapter was long closed. At least, that's what she told herself. Yet here she was, drawn back like a tide that wouldn't let her go. When the first squad hit the field, the crowd erupted. Lena stayed silent, eyes fixed on the team. They moved as one, scaling walls, breaching doors, and executing maneuvers with machine-like precision. Then she saw him, the commander. Not by name, but by presence. Leadership was carved into the way he stood, the way he scanned the field. She noticed the small scar near his temple, the steady eyes, and something familiar she couldn't quite name. After the final simulation, the team gathered for a Q&A. The commander removed his helmet, revealing streaks of gray and the face of a man who had lived through too much. He answered questions about training, life, and sacrifice. Lena turned to leave, but as the wind caught her jacket, it lifted just enough to reveal a small tattoo on her forearm, a trident flanked by 2 dates. The commander's words faltered. His gaze locked on her. He excused himself, walking straight toward her. The sound of his boots on gravel seemed to silence the world. "Where did you get that?" His voice was low but sharp. Lena glanced at her arm, then at him. "It's just a tattoo." "No," he said. "That's a unit mark. And those dates." He stopped himself, frowning. "You're not supposed to have that." "Maybe not," she said softly. "But I do." He studied her face. "Who are you? You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me." She hesitated, then took a breath. "My brother was in your unit." "Mason Clark." His expression changed instantly. His jaw tightened. "Mason," his voice lowered. "You're his sister." She nodded. "That tattoo was his." "No," she said quietly. "It's mine now. He gave it to me before he didn't come home." The commander looked away, blinking hard. The crowd still cheered behind them, but the air between them had turned heavy. "I remember Mason," he said finally. "One of the best. We lost him in." He trailed off. "I know where," Lena said. "I know the mission. I know more than you think." He looked at her, confused. "How?" "Because he told me before he left. He told me everything. He said if he didn't make it back, I needed to come here. To see. To understand why he chose this life." The commander's throat tightened. He never mentioned a sister. He kept family out of his files. Said it was safer that way. "It wasn't safe," Lena whispered. "Losing him broke my mother. My father barely speaks. And me, I swore I'd never come near a uniform again. Until today," he said quietly. She nodded. He looked down at the tattoo again, eyes resting on the lower date, the day Mason died. Then he reached into his vest pocket and pulled out a small object wrapped in worn cloth. "I've been carrying this since that day," he said. "Didn't know who to give it to. Guess I do now." Lena unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a faded SEAL uniform patch, Mason Clark stitched across the center. "I thought they sent everything home," she whispered. "They sent what they could," he said. "This, I kept. Because Mason saved my life. Took the step I should have. You don't forget that." She closed her hand around the patch, feeling its weight. For a long moment, neither spoke. "You came to watch," he said finally. "But I think you came for something else." "Maybe," she admitted. "Maybe I needed to remember him the way he lived, not the way he died." The commander nodded slowly. "Then you should know, your brother wasn't just good. He was the kind of man every SEAL hopes to be. Brave, loyal, unshakable." Lena felt the sting behind her eyes, but she didn't cry. She pulled her sleeve back down, covering the tattoo. "Thank you," she said softly. He turned to leave, then paused. "Lena, if you ever want to know more about Mason, the things not written in the reports, you know where to find me." She nodded, clutching the patch tight. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like she was carrying his memory alone. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe to Classified Courage. Because every act of bravery deserves to be remembered.